Have you ever pondered why the desire for electric cars appears to be depicted differently in American auto dealerships? What if I told you that the quietness has more meaning than first appears? Imagine a scenario in which electric vehicles are the way of the future, but traditional car dealerships are reluctant to adapt. However, why? Why is there such a resistance to admitting the evident increase in demand in electric vehicles? Come along on a journey to discover the real reason for the quiet and the reason why American auto shops might be misleading customers about the desire for electric vehicles. Let's examine in detail the complex network of incentives, false beliefs, and special interests that are influencing the story. Are you prepared to learn the startling reality? Electric cars, or EVs, are hailed as the transportation of the future because they are thought to contribute to cleaner air, less reliance on fossil fuels, and a shift towards sustainable mobility. Nonetheless, many American auto shops are misrepresenting the market for electric vehicles despite rising consumer interest and government incentives. In this video, we explore the causes of this disparity, illuminating the reasons behind some dealerships' reluctance to embrace the electric revolution and the implications for EV adoption going forward. Meet the dealership dilemma. In the age of electric automobiles, traditional car dealerships find themselves in a difficult position. Their business strategy has been based on selling gasoline-powered vehicles that need regular maintenance for decades. This has proven to be a profitable venture. Dealerships, however, face a basic dilemma as electric vehicle sales soar and promise lower maintenance requirements. Embrace change or reject it. Many dealerships opt for the latter since they are set in their ways and don't want to mess with their lucrative service departments. Rather than welcoming the transformation brought about by electric cars, they adhere to antiquated customs, which sustain a climate of distrust and false information about EVs. The knowledge gap. When customers walk onto a dealership lot, they frequently encounter salespeople who are uninterested in or lack the necessary expertise on electric cars. Dealership training programs sometimes fall behind the rapid evolution of EV technology, leaving salespeople unprepared to inform and motivate prospective customers. When faced with ignorance or apathy, discussions regarding battery range, charging infrastructure, and environmental benefits may come up empty. This lack of understanding not only prevents electric cars from reaching their full potential in terms of sales, but it also feeds customer uncertainty and misinformation. Anyone with range anxiety? Regarding electric vehicles, one of the most widespread illusions is that of range anxiety or the worry of running out of battery power before arriving at a charging station. Although range issues with early EV vehicles may have existed, advances in battery technology have generally allayed these worries. Nevertheless, some dealerships take advantage of and exaggerate range anxiety to discourage buyers from choosing electric options instead of emphasizing these developments. They maintain the status quo and prevent the broad adoption of electric vehicles by sowing doubt and anxiety. The knowledge gap. One major barrier to the mass adoption of electric vehicles is the knowledge gap that exists within typical car dealerships. Even while consumers' interest in electric vehicles is growing, many dealership employees lack the necessary tools to effectively market and sell these cars. The absence of thorough instruction and training on the characteristics and technologies of electric vehicles is the cause of this knowledge gap. Therefore, salespeople could find it difficult to respond to inquiries regarding EVs that are fundamental in nature, like battery range, charging infrastructure, and the advantages of electric mobility for the environment. The lack of understanding about electric vehicles weakens consumer confidence in a sector where market acceptance of these vehicles is crucial. When making judgments about what to buy, customers look to dealership employees for reliable information and direction. However, when these employees are unable to answer questions or debunk myths about electric vehicles, it only helps to increase suspicion. Dealership staff are ill-prepared to handle the complexity of selling electric vehicles if they do not receive the necessary training and assistance from manufacturers, which further widens the gap between customer interest and dealership capacity. It will take a combined effort from dealerships and manufacturers to prioritize education and training programs in order to close the knowledge gap. The provision of extensive resources and training programs by manufacturers is vital in order to equip dealership staff with the necessary knowledge and confidence to successfully sell electric automobiles. Dealerships can close the knowledge gap, foster consumer confidence, and encourage a larger uptake of electric mobility solutions in the automotive market by making continuous investments in education and assistance. The Tesla factor. The Tesla factor is a force for disruption in the automotive sector that is upending the conventional dealership model and changing how buyers view and acquire electric cars. Tesla uses a direct-to-consumer sales approach, cutting out the intermediary dealership in contrast to traditional automakers. Tesla has transformed the car buying experience by selling cars directly through company-owned storefronts and online. The firm offers a smooth, transparent procedure that puts the needs of its customers first. The Tesla factor is mostly derived from the company's dedication to sustainability and innovation. With its emphasis on cutting-edge technology, a stylish aesthetic, and long-range electric cars, Tesla has drawn attention from customers all around the world. Tesla has raised the profile of electric vehicles and disrupted preconceived ideas about what an automobile dealership ought to be by taking the lead in the industry. But there has also been opposition to the Tesla factor in the auto business, especially from conventional dealerships. Some dealerships perceive Tesla's direct sales model as a threat to their long-standing business model as the firm grows in popularity and market share. Traditional dealerships may feel under pressure to change in response to Tesla's direct-to-consumer method, or else they run the risk of falling behind in the electric vehicle revolution. The Tesla factor has had a significant impact on the automotive industry, despite its difficulties and controversies. Tesla has sparked change by introducing a novel method to automobile sales and advocating for the mass use of electric automobiles. As a result, established dealerships have been compelled to reconsider their tactics and welcome innovation. The market for electric vehicles is still expanding, and the Tesla factor is a powerful reminder of the disruptive potential of change and the value of flexibility in a dynamic sector. The consumer conundrum. The confusing scenario that consumers find themselves in while navigating the adoption of electric vehicles against the backdrop of dealership deceit and misinformation is well described as the consumer conundrum. Consumers are eager to adopt greener, more sustainable modes of transportation, yet they encounter challenges and doubts at every turn. When trying to learn more about EV alternatives at conventional dealerships, many prospective buyers run across resistance and mistrust despite the increased knowledge and interest in EVs. Customers are left perplexed, torn between the realistic demands of daily transportation needs and their desire for environmental responsibility. On the one hand, people are inundated with commercials praising the advantages of electric cars, such as their cutting-edge technology, lesser emissions, and cheaper fuel. However, consumers encounter resistance and doubt from dealership employees who could minimize the benefits of electric vehicles or encourage them to choose more traditional gasoline-powered cars. Furthermore, the consumer conundrum is made worse by the dearth of easily accessible resources and information for potential purchasers of electric vehicles. Customers are frequently forced to fend for themselves, pulling together fragmentary information from diverse sources in an industry where transparency and education are crucial. Many people are left feeling overwhelmed and unsure about whether to switch to electric mobility due to this lack of help and direction. The consumer conundrum offers a chance for empowerment and change in spite of these obstacles. As consumers become more conscious of dealership deceit and their support for electric vehicles develops, they are starting to hold manufacturers and dealerships alike more accountable and transparent. Customers may navigate the electric car market with clarity and confidence by preparing themselves, asking the proper questions, and looking for reliable sources of information. This will help to accelerate the transition to a more sustainable form of transportation in the long run. Turning the tide. Turning the tide marks a turning point in the electric car revolution as efforts are being made in unison to surmount the obstacles and difficulties that have prevented the vehicles from being widely adopted. A movement is underway to bring about significant change in the automobile sector as people become more conscious of environmental issues and the advantages of electric mobility. Manufacturers, legislators, advocacy organizations, and consumers are just a few of the stakeholders involved in this movement that aims to hasten the switch to electric vehicles. Turning the tide is based on a dedication to openness, learning, and creativity. Manufacturers understand how critical it is to provide dealerships with the tools and information required to successfully market and sell electric cars. The implementation of extensive training initiatives, sales staff incentives, and infrastructure investments in charging are among the tactics utilized to surmount the deeply ingrained opposition inside conventional dealership networks. In addition, legislators have a significant influence on how regulations are shaped to encourage the use of electric vehicles. Governments may incentivize customers and automakers to adopt greener transportation options by enacting policies like tax breaks, rebates, and emissions controls. Lawmakers can expedite the shift to electric vehicles and boost market expansion by creating a conducive policy environment. In addition, advocacy groups and consumer organizations are essential to turning the tide because they dispel misunderstandings, increase public awareness, and provide consumers the information they need to make decisions about their transportation requirements. Through the amplification of voices advocating for electric mobility and the imposition of accountability on stakeholders, these groups foster a more transparent and equitable automotive sector. Turning the tide necessitates teamwork and a common goal for a more sustainable, greener transportation industry. Through the combined forces of cooperation, ingenuity, and advocacy, we can break through the barriers preventing progress and usher in a new era of electric mobility. Together, we have the power to change the course of events and steer future generations in the direction of a more promising and sustainable future. What does this mean for electric vehicles going forward? Yes, it's going to be a rough ride, but it also has a lot of potential. We are getting closer to a world in which electric cars rule supreme. The shocking thing is how we ever managed without them, as we reveal the truth about dealership deceit and arm consumers with knowledge. Subscribe now to stay plugged into the latest updates, insights, and innovations in the electric vehicle revolution.